Welcome to you. The sun has come out on the Tirreno Adriatico. Thank goodness for that. After 3 days of wet racing, the road turns up to the sky and the blue canopy, and the mountains beckon on the first day for the GC contenders. Stage 4 heads to 1,450 metres above sea level. Prato di Tivio, the target, after 173 kilometres of racing. The riders will still need their warm weather gear, especially if the crowd or the cloud rolls in. That is your route, 173 kilometres in total. Some proper climbs along the way. It's 2 days of climbing then. Sort of rough stuff, I think you might say. This is the day's profile. Let's find out where we are, shall we? Just heading up towards that penultimate peak, and then that long, long descent on Prato di Tivio. We've got a fantastic lineup in this Tirreno Adriatico, and with the likes of Contador, Chris Froome, of course, Cadel Evans, and indeed the list almost seems endless when you start to look through the quality that we have here. It is in abundance, and today, well, escapees have their chance to show their mettle, but in the end, we expect some very familiar names to come to the fore by the end. Prato di Tivio, our destination. Still out front, and we are hearing that Mark Cavendish is having his troubles. That's the latest data that's coming in at the moment. 4 riders still up the road. Their escape, well, it's been cut back, and after 125 kilometres or so, it's around about the 4-minute mark that these guys have got over the chasers. Confirmation of who they are then. A 4-man escape group. Freddy Kasayakov, who of course took the Tour of Austria a couple of years ago, time trial specialist in Vuelta, and the Tour of Switzerland did well there. It is about time trial men, it seems. Set that rhythm and just go for it. Rao, also a time trialer, did well in the Étoile de Bessèges in that discipline. And a time trialer you may well know as well is Mashinsky, the Pole from Vacansoleil. Always runs at a good rhythm, especially in the mountains. Won the Tour of Poland, let's not forget. And we have Fai as well, who, frankly speaking, he's been a bit of an escape artist so far in this Tirreno Adriatico. And there is a man who is suffering, Mark Cavendish, just being helped along in the lumpy stuff today. It is early season, however, and this is about testing your legs. Yesterday, he said to the press, "Forget me for the Milan-San Remo." We can't forget you, Mark.
Injection of pace by Saxo Bank towards the top of that penultimate mountain of the day, and I think that's less in aid of trying to catch these guys on your screen now and more to try and position their leader Alberto Contador well for the descent, which might sound funny, but this descent leads immediately into the final climb of the day, and so positioning at the top can be crucial for making sure that you're in the right place by the bottom. It's a fast descent. There's not going to be many people moving up from 50th towards the front. It's also technical in places as well. So that's part of the job of the teams at the top of climbs like that, is just to make sure that their leaders are in the right position, because last thing you want is for them to have to try and make up positions on a descent.
Chris Froome, how's his descending skills?
Yeah, nowhere near as good as Nibali.
Goes up well.
He's not bad, but he's sometimes a little bit careful around some of the corners, but I just don't think this descent's not quite technical enough. But as I said, we haven't seen the Sky, boys. Just looking on one of the other monitors, it's quite a long way back. Here we've got the same picture again now. 6 BMC riders on the front, another 5 or so from Astana just behind them, and for sure behind those two trains we've got the likes of Saxo Bank and Sky jostling for position as well. But I'm expecting that to be a little bit hard, well, more fought out, shall we say, by the time they reach the foot of the last climb.
14.7 to go, minute 36 now. It kind of suits everyone at the time being, and it's kick-up time.
Yep, they're on the last climb of the day now, these breakaway riders. 14.5 kilometres to go, judging by the route book as opposed to the graphic on the screen. And Anthony Roux at France de Jeu immediately on the front, and all of them still together at the moment, but only another minute and a half now until this group reach the last climb of the day. In terms of who I'm going to pick, I'm going to, as usual with the sprints, going to go for an outsider too, rather than an out-and-out favourite, and just go for little rider Domenico Pozzovivo of AG2R. See what he can do today.
And there's me thinking you're going to say Sandy Cassel. 10.2 to go, minute 9 now, and I think it's all done for Marcinski. Looks over the shoulder, told you everything you need to know. Cadel Evans just out of the saddle and starting to roll just a little bit here. Nothing wrong with that. It's kind of his style. Other riders, when you see that, you sort of think, is it coming to the end of their reserves? Cadel Evans himself, with 10 to go, has other ways of showing his fatigue. Past the 10-kilometre to go marker then, and Marcinski, last man standing up front, as Sky lead the chase. There is Cadel Evans as well, very much in the frame by the end of today, you can be sure. Where is Alberto Contador? Well, we haven't caught sight of him amongst the trees for just a few minutes here, but we know that he is within this group. In fact, I've just seen his bouncing form right now, dead centre of your screen, so very much involved. It's going to be one for the big names today, we know that. It's 2 solid days of climbing before we have a sort of a classics day, and then the time trial, don't forget, to end the individual time trial on the coast of the Adriatic. That's our target, and there's your escapee, and it's all over. Now then, when will the fireworks start? When do you think?
Oh, well, they've got the steepest section of the race, or of this climb, should I say, comes around 6 kilometres to go. I'm not expecting to see too much from any of the favourites until we hit the kind of 5 or 6k to go mark. This is Kesikov just being brought back by the Sky train. 3 guys left in front of Froome now. Pete Kenner, I think, done his job and gone to the back and, well, sit up until the finish now. Good job by Pete Kenner. He focused on the track last year, winning a gold medal on the track at the Olympics, and coming back into some climbing form this year.
Yeah, form's what it's about, and this race has been an amazing build-up for many years for those looking to launch themselves into the later classics, which take place in, of course, Europe. Well, the early ones as well, I guess. 8.4 kilometres to go then, and on one of the flatter sections, it's not opening up at all. In fact, I think the camera's giving a lie here. If you look at the stanchions that are holding the Armco barriers here, they're at an angle. That tells you that he's still doing his level best to continue this ride home here. He's gone over the steepest section, incidentally, and it's approaching that for the chasers here. 12%. Much of this is hovering around 10%, however, and it's a long one as well at 14.55 kilometres. Giovanni Visconti. Oh dear. Now that looks like a problem. Is it just so? Well, what on earth has gone wrong? Is that Contador, who's just about to get caught by Evans here?
No, I think he's. I'm just looking on my other screen. He's still on the wheel of Chris Horner in the front group. It's.
Oh, there he is. Yes, thank goodness for that. I was just about to say. I was about to brag about Sant'Ambrogio and
Johnny the wrong graphic. Don't panic. Don't panic.
Yeah,
everyone.
Don't panic at all. Yes, exactly. As we did just momentarily there.
Kreuziger.
Yeah, there we are. Yes, much more long of limb when it's in slow mo. It's quick time motion up front, however. Look at that, and there is a busy old day. The legs are going to, they're not going to be setting that tempo by the end, I can tell you. But this very select group, Contador well and truly involved here, but so is Chris Froome. It's going to be fascinating how this one pans out. Vincenzo Nibali and Sant'Ambrogio as well. This could be a very, very interesting finish today. Well, we know it will be. Lots of questions to be asked, and a fantastic push by Wout Poels to bridge that gap, and he still looks like he's got something left. This is great.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, Contador kicks it. Now then, how will Sky respond? There he goes. They're trying to get out of the saddle, and Contador's decided that this is his moment with 6.2 kilometres to go, and Froome tries to respond on his own here with his lieutenants just being left in their wake, and Contador has gone here, and just look at the tempo he's setting. This is amazing.
Well, this is what makes mountains so exciting. This is why this man makes mountains so exciting. He doesn't stick to the I'm going to stick at one pace and leave it to the last moment. He likes to inject pace like he's done at the moment. You can see the gap that's just opened up between himself and the others. I mean, admittedly he caught them by surprise, but that acceleration is incredible, and it's what we haven't seen throughout last year when he was missing from some of the races. Great to see him sticking it to some of the Sky Riders, and let's see what they've got in well, there we go. There's your answer. It's seems to be a little bit of a habit actually last year at the World. Wow, he's come to a standstill.
Yeah, he's come to a standstill around the hairpin, but he's kind of bouncing there. I've seen him do this and then fail, incidentally. Quite often he'll play a last roll of the dice if he's not feeling very well. You can't tell anything from the demeanour on his face. He drops into the back of this group, sort of, yeah, there you go, that's what I can do. I might well do it again. 4.7 to go. Can I get the double?
Hope not.
There's a beer on it. Cadel Evans then still suffering it, and the seconds just eking out. Those seconds have to be made up, let's not forget.
Coming back.
They are. Well, we're saying they've got to be made up, and you've got to actually kind of work together to do that. And you've got to stay in touch with those who are doing most of the work. And Evans just steps out of the saddle momentarily as Rodriguez, just a couple of riders ahead of him, also helps to pace back to these boys who are up the road. Setting the pace at the moment, it's Sky, and staying in touch is Contador, who has another look. Is he going to have another go?
I think you might think better of it now. Uran just drawing up alongside Dario Cataldo, saying, have you done yet? You want me to take over? And Cataldo saying, no, I've got another couple of 100 metres in me. But shortly after, he does bring Uran alongside and say, look, you need to do some work on the front for me. I'm starting to tire of it. But he's still just slipped in behind his teammate. Still two guys left in front of Chris Froome. And as again, they would have sat down this morning with some very definite benchmarks. We still need this number of riders in front of Chris Froome at this point in the race.
It's kind of a desperate retrieval moment as that group begins to break down. Meanwhile, up front, all solidly together. Alberto Contador just peeling off the front to take that intermediate sprint and close that time. Clever.
Details on that soon.
Well, 3.4 to go, and teammates who are starting to suffer here, those who've done a proper job for their team leaders up front. And well, team leaders are aptly numbered. You'll see an awful lot of ones knocking around in this select group up front, save for Sant'Ambrogio, who I'll keep mentioning until he fades. Number 218. There you go. And that's the 81 of Joaquin Rodriguez back onto this group. This is good. This bodes very well for an absolute firecracker finale.
It does, but you tend to sort of see normally that if a rider's been dropped earlier on in the climb, that they will suffer again when the final injection of pace comes up. One rider that's been on Chris Froome's wheel for almost the entire mountain, Chris Horner, 41 years of age. Fantastic ride by him in this race last year, and he's also not looked to be in too much trouble so far, but we're really only going to see another rider coming back to the group now. Let's see who that is.
It's not Nocentini, is it?
No, it's Kreuziger. So Contador has a teammate back with this group now.
There we are. Good lad. 3 to go. And it's the business end of the day. Flamme Rouge beckons in a couple. It will be a real grind out there. The road marker for you. See how broken down it is. A little bit of moisture on the road as well. And Froome just giving a little tap instruction there to Uran just to pace up a little bit, not lose contact. Does so, responding almost automatically to that little physical instruction, and away they go. It's been like this for such a long time. It seems like Sky have been part of top-end cycling for a very, very long time. Yes, that's a Roman theatre. We've got our own drama playing out at the nose of the peloton here. Sky in control. Oh, not a bit of it, and Contador kicks again. Now, he did this to take that little intermediate sprint along the way. Now then, is he going to try and make this one stick? Will he burn out like he did last time? Well, maybe he just bedded in to save some energy for the grand finale. I think this is his last chance here, and this is him actually going for it. I don't think he's going to back in at all if he can possibly help it. Has a look over his shoulder, just see what the response is from Sky. They do pick it up this time, and it's going to be Uran, I think, that's going to lead the charge here for Froome. He's going to have to do it himself, Froome, at some point, but not yet.
No, again, they just either couldn't respond or they're sticking to their plan. And it's, sorry, it's not Cataldo on the front now, it's Henao, the other Colombian rider that's on the front of your screens now, as Contador attacked. Henao and Uran still left with Chris Froome. Neither of them have responded particularly. About 5-6 seconds at the moment. And yeah, is it part of the plan? Is it that Chris Froome can't respond? I think it's part of the plan. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Chris Froome perhaps putting a dig of himself towards the coming in towards the last kilometre and a half. And
I think it may well be coming just a little bit earlier than that. They carry a big pace through there. It's Uran that's left with him now. Not sure what the message says, but back out front, it is Alberto Contador that is bossing proceedings at the moment. But will he be allowed to? Really is this sort of. Now he's just got to show us what he's got this early part of the season. He's looked very relaxed, we mentioned that, in all disciplines so far, and this is his favourite, let's not forget. This is his kind of theatre, and right now Uran is doing his best just to hold that pace. It seems that Froome is content to stay there. Content, it's a word you have to use loosely. Standing water, as you can see, they cross over to the dry side of the road. But it is Contador who has gone off the front here and he's bouncing away. Now then, I think the charge has just begun. It's certainly a change of tempo by Uran under the instructions of Froome, perhaps. It depends on how many reserves he's got left. Reserves of Contador. Here, look at this. He joins Contador and Sant'Ambrogio. They go as well for it here. Absolutely superb. Now, is Nibali going to get mugged here towards the end? And what's Froome got to respond? Well, this trio up front may well keep it very, very Latin as they go to the top here and setting his own pace. Vincenzo Nibali wearing number 1. Alberto Contador next to him, and it's Sant'Ambrogio on the back wheel of Contador. Now, Sant'Ambrogio may well be able to be a bit of a passenger here with 1.6 to go, because these two big names will want to show what they can do and just keep and maintain that gap on Sky. The main threat is Chris Froome as far as Contador's concerned, but he's just grimacing ever so slightly. I'm not sure whether this is his poker face just falling away or whether he's just trying to deliver a false message. I don't know. Froome out of the saddle and bouncing nicely at the moment. They still relay back. 1.5 kilometres to go. It doesn't sound like a huge distance, but on this sort of terrain, there's still a long way to go here.
There is 1.5 kilometres still to go. They start looking at each other at the front. Kwiatkowski of Omega Pharma Quickstep currently is riding himself into the lead of this race. He's still sat back on that group of 4 that's, 5-6 seconds behind Contador's group now. I still can't decide whether Team Sky are just not panicking or if they don't have the response to these guys that are at the front. Time will tell when they come into the last kilometre. It might be that Chris Froome makes his move then, but it's Chris Horner and Kwiatkowski who are the riders still left with this group of Chris Froome. Are they clawing themselves back, or are they losing ground on the front 3? Well, I think they're losing ground.
I think they're losing ground, and I've got to tell you as well, it eases up just a little bit. I don't know whether they're waiting for that, but really they need it to be a little bit more focused. Contador, Nibali. It's Nibali on the front here. Alberto Contador just behind him, as you can see, and Sant'Ambrogio as well from Vini Fantini just behind Contador right now. Sky look like they've made up just a little bit of ground. No, it's the foreshortening of the camera. Come on, do some work, says Nibali. If you want to take this, or if we're going to share the spoils here, you've got to do some work. Contador still stays there. He's saving his energy for a final battle perhaps. And still around does a great job here. Horner waiting in the wings, you might say, and Kwiatkowski in the Young Riders jersey in the white there at the back. He's a passenger just for now. Now, Sant'Ambrogio is saving himself perhaps. He hasn't done most of the work here as they go into the Flamme Rouge. It's the run for home, and Sky turn on the pace here, and they're going to get back on them here. Now then, what will be the response? And here it comes. Nibali just kicks away, and Contador follows him. Sant'Ambrogio likewise, and Chris Froome decides to join the party. Is it all too late? He goes off. Horner tracks him as well here. Horner is the last man in what is likely to be the top 5 here. Now then, what has Chris Froome got? He comes up to them and he goes through.
This was the plan.
Look at that. Perfectly delivered, and
wow.
He's just said goodbye to everybody, and Chris Froome has gone. What is going to be the response?
This is what we've been waiting for. The question I've been asking, are they just being relaxed and being cool about it and waiting for the right moment, or are they just not having the response to these guys? And the answer is right there on your screens. The plan for Froome was to wait until the last possible moment before he goes into the red. He's got around 2 minutes now before he reaches the line, possibly a bit less, and he can go full gas without paying for it afterwards. And look at the gap he's opened up already.
Amazing, amazing delivery. Look at that. And here comes the response, and it's going to be Sant'Ambrogio, I think, from this long distance, who's going to be nearest man to him. Froome is away. This is a man who has designs on the Tour de France title, let's not forget. Sant'Ambrogio was a bit of a passenger in that leading trio that looks like they may well sort it out. And it's Chris Froome who's saved his energy courtesy of his teammates. And Contador really grimaces as he looks up the road and sees the man who's going to take it today. Nobody's going to catch Chris Froome from this sort of position here. It's going to be minor placings, and Nibali, he goes for it. Contador's got nothing left. Oh, but this man's got everything, it seems. He's got a great team. He's got a great demeanour. Great strategy, perfectly delivered. It'll be about minor places for these boys. Chris Froome is away as we look further down, and Sant'Ambrogio picks it up and grinds a big one here. Nibali nearest to him, and it's got to be said that Contador has failed to deliver. The man who he regards as his arch rival has just gone up the road here, and Chris Froome is bringing it home. 100 metres to go. The chasers are on, but it's all too late for them. He has saved himself beautifully. It's going to be Sant'Ambrogio, I think, that's going to finish in second place here. Everyone, though, is second to this man and to this team. Chris Froome takes it. It's a phenomenal victory for him and for Sky. Sant'Ambrogio coming across the line in second place. It will be Nibali across the line next. And we look for Contador. It's going to be 6.
Kwiatkowski just coming across the line now. I think he's going to take the jersey of the leader by around about 3 seconds, given Chris Froome's 10-second time bonus. What a finish to today's stage.
There is the roar of a champion in waiting in the Grand Tour. Fabulous. Here's your stage results, confirmation of that. Contador 6 ahead of Oran, who was the last man to beat with Chris Froome as part of that Sky guidance system. Wouter Pauwels there in 8th place ahead of Joaquim Rodriguez, who we saw grimacing, wondering how on earth can anyone do that? You've got to have a team around you. Roman Kreuziger in 10th place today.
Chris, we were watching on TV and wondering whether you had no response to Contador Nibali or whether it was a plan from the team beforehand just to stick at the... obviously, in the end, you answered the question. You must have felt good.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a really strong team around me here. Those guys could have done their own right today, so I had all the confidence in the world, even once Contador, Nibali had started jumping around. I had all the confidence to stay with my teammates, knowing that they would close the gap for me and take me right up until the last part of the race where I could make my move.
Chris Froome, top step of the day's podium. He is our stage winner, and indeed trails in the overall by 4 seconds to Kwiatkowski. He gets himself a picture, a few kisses, some flowers along the way as well. What he actually wants is a big woolly jumper. Overall standings, Kwiatkowski is our leader. He leads Chris Froome by 4 seconds. Great performance by the young man from Quick Step. They're taking a lot out of this. Sky gave a lot today and gave Chris Froome a fantastic victory.
This is one of amazing days in my life, and I still couldn't believe that I'm the leader jersey, that I'm leader of Tirreno Adriatico. I want to say thank you to my teammates because they did a great job from the beginning of the race. The CAF had the leader jersey, and today they still was pulling in the front, walking for us, for me and Tony, and you know that was giving me a lot of self-confidence, and I really want to say thank you.
Another very modest character, and great to see. That the jersey he'll be wearing tomorrow into the mountains, and some beating. Kwiatkowski then leads Chris Froome by 4 seconds. Vincenzo Nibali by 16. Yawning gaps today in the overall classification. Thank you for your company. It's been an amazing day in the mountains. We've got another one tomorrow. For now, though, from me, Carlton Kirby, and from Daniel Lloyd, thanks for your company. We'll see you on the road up to the hills once again for Stage 5.